Hello guys, what's up? This is Scher talking. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be giving a review on Romancing Festival Creators banner. This banner has a name of creator, but it could be named either Minerva or Copellia, the two global exclusive styles that are here as well. It's very funny since Minerva was a character beloved by the community because of her A style, and people kept asking on Square Enix livestream to create a double S style of her, and she is finally here, they delivered. And then we have a new style for Copellia, another very famous character from the Romancing SaGa franchise, maybe one of the most famous ones from Romancing SaGa too. And creator is from SaGa collection, and he is very interesting, but just doesn't bring much more besides what we could already do with his first style. We're giving a review here, and starting with creator, it's kinda strange what they did with him because I was expecting some sort of buff since we just got this style. It's not very old and it's good. This one here is good because he has a 25% chase, but exactly not because of the chase itself, since he is strong enough and he can do lightning damage, something that we were kind of lacking, AoE lightning damage. He did have low agility, so this was a problem, but all of his skills were kind of interesting by the cost of them. He had a sheep attack that he could use all the time. He had mid-range damage with Creator's Power that brings lightning and cold. For many people that didn't have lightning, this was a very good skill. And then Fiat Lux is the last skill that can only be used on turn 2 onwards, but he also can use this as a chase with 25% chance after using anything, even normal attacks, but you should not be using normal attacks since time Q is only 3VP. And then there is the new version of him, and this version does not bring much else. As you can see, he does try to increase the elemental coverage with this second attack called Hat Trick, that's both slash and cold. We do find slash easily in this game, and this one is not so strong. I'd say that he can do cold, but most of the mages already do cold. The first skill is lightning and sun, but we do have a higher power skill with Fiat Lux, his first style. And what does he have then? He does have this attack called Repent. Repent is a very strong attack with 8 power. It should be the same as Summer Final Impress. The thing here is that he does have a lot of intelligence, 100%. That is the same value as the other one. See, they are just too comparable. When you want a new style of the same character, you want it to cover something else or at least do something else. But he's still an AoE attacker with just some more elemental coverage. So the intelligence is the same. The will is similar. They still have a lot of will. At least he has a little more agility. That is needed because he's not a fast attacker. They could at least make him a fast attacker or just change the power of the skills or just add something to it. 5 VP for a low damage skill is not so interesting anymore. But we'll get into his passives. But just to explain, let's discuss about Royal Family. Royal Family brought us Leon, Final Emperor, and Final Empress, and they all have sun damage. As you can see here, this is only sun. Final Emperor has a better attack that is both slash and sun, and he can keep using sheep attack to just do 3 turn cycle of slash and sun. This guy only uses sun on this attack. There's no even lightning here. The only added effect is confusion. But for turn 2 you can also use Leo if you have him. Leo increases also 10% of the damage for everyone in the squad. So Repent is just clashing with recent characters. So that's why I was expecting something else. The confusion chance does not make this better. We also have someone that can inflict confusion, and that is Vagnus. Another character can use it for weekly content just fine. So with 2 skills that have low power and high cost, in my opinion 5VP is kinda high for this, without any effect, he deserved more. At least let's discuss his passives. Divine Punishment means that every time that he uses any type of attack, even normal attack if you want, he does have 25% chance to chase with the skill called Repent. Repent is stronger than the other attack, Fiat Lux. You see, 25 against 29, but it only has 1 element. This guy is known for lightning damage. This one only has sun. That's what you get. He does have Showtime. This is the same passive as Joe. That is 5% increasing damage for 3 times. It's good with Joe because Joe covers heat and cold. It's very easy to hit weaknesses from your targets when you're attacking with both heat and cold. And that is not the case with this guy. He does not have a turn 1 attack that's strong. He only has a turn 2 attack that's not fast. and if he inherits, that means that you already have this one. You can at least use Creator's Power, but why? If you have this version, this one is good enough. You will not be using Creator all the time. He's not Joe. That is a problem. In my opinion, he's even less interesting than the first style. We also have Fired Up 5, so 20% increase in damage. It's the only normal passive that he has, so with Showtime active, it's 25% increase in damage. As you know, Fire Emperor has 40% increase in damage, so I really don't like this guy too much. He's using elements that we got covered now, and the only thing that he has left is to use a sheep attack and hope for it to trigger his Repent, but Repent with level 1, it's not so strong. Or if you bring him for Showtime, but now you have Leon. If you don't bring him to attack, bring Leon, he's a fast attacker, it's way better to use. So in my opinion, this creator is even inferior to the first one that at least cover lightning, an element that we still lack. That's for him. Let's go for the next one. As for Coppelia, we have 4 different styles of her. The fourth one is the S, the first one is the Platinum one, the second, the first limited, that's called Musical or Valentine's, depending where you ask. And the third one is the Global X, the one that we are able to summon now. As you can see, she got some increase in all status. With her Platinum was only 67 STR, became 83, and then now 90%. The most important status for our martial artist is Agility. It was 75, then 80s, and now it's 100%. Remember, Red has 99. So it's very close to the current standards for martial artists. She also got an improvement on intelligence. The Platinum one had a higher compared to Limited because she was also made for submission usage. She's an STR debuffer. The funny thing is that this one is also an STR debuffer, but an AoE one. Very interesting. This one also recovers HP with a passive, that's why she has a very high charisma. The endurance is actually good for martial artists. Her dexterity is not used in any way or sort, and her wheel is very bad, but that's okay. Let's click here to discuss the style. She has arrows for agility, intelligence, and charisma, so she probably breaks a little more in intelligence. And as you can see, the first passive is Detox Heal. This cleanses all status elements on start of a turn and also recovers some HP. In her case, it should be around 120 or 130 when she's maxed. She also has a strengthened energy that the attack increases, that is for 10%, and recovers BP on start of battle. This is very interesting because it's power charge with 10% more damage, power charge 2. And then Battle Tension increases damage by 15%, but also increases VP by 1. I don't remember seeing any type of combo like this before, because usually a character has one thing or another. But in the end, what we have is 25% increase in damage and plus 3 BP on start of a fight. We have to discuss this plus 3 BP because it allows her to do something. And because she also cleanses status elements. Being a debuffer is also interesting since she will never be hitting your party and never stop debuffing your enemies unless she's dead. But she also has something very interesting, 99 LP points. She will never die unless you use some of her skills. That also needs to talk later. Okay, for our skills, the first one is Flying Knee Kick. This is a sheep attack. Well, it becomes a free attack when you fully awaken. It's a little stronger than a normal attack. Nice because you can stack BP and also use her easier in auto setups. The second one is Mirage Kick. This attack here was stolen from Ren. Remember Ren? A tank, a cover tank in the game. Ren, let's talk about him later. It's an AoE attack that can debuff STR. And it's important because we don't have many AoE attacks that can debuff STR. We only have Ren, to be honest. And now we will have another one in the future called Skirak, but she may be 1 or 2 months away. And even then, if you have multiple targets, you can still use both together. Depending on the boss, if your boss has, like, the boss stage has 3 bosses, it will be interesting. But let's give a look on Ren. Ren sometimes was failing his debuff, and the reason is because his intelligence is not that high. It's only 50%. As you can see here, he does not have bonus as well, so only plus 5. This attack here, Mirage Kick, it debuffs 15% of STR. Let's get Copellia back. With 70%, she does have a higher chance. She's still not perfect, she's not a mage. The best debuffers are mages or cards with a guaranteed debuff. We just got also Halloween Cat that will always debuff, but she's made for single target boss fights. This one is made for multiple bosses. But Mirage Kick would at least do some damage since she does have a lot of status, but it's not that strong, it's only E. It's very close to normal attack damage, but spread out to hit everyone. Then we have the third skill. The third skill is called Punishing Combo, and man, she stole this attack from Red. Punishing Combo is very interesting because it's exclusive to Global. Red uses the skill and on the next turn he already has Overdrive ready. It's exclusive, this is the only character that can do this as far as I know. And Punishing Combo is good because it can finish some waves that no one else can. Like, imagine that there is a strong enemy, but a lot of weak minions alongside this strong enemy in this wave, and you will kill all small enemies and then attack the central enemy, allowing you to kill a single enemy with a single character. How this happened? Well, the first hit is an AoE attack with B power, we don't know the exact modifier, but it's strong. And then it uses 2 Key Blast skills, one after another. That is D power attack, but at least this one still ranks up together with Punishing Combo, meaning that the damage is good, it's not rank 1. And then it will kill this larger enemy. Or you can just think about this as a single target nuke. It works both as AoE and both as a single target nuke. That's why Red is so used. It was the best martial arts skill for farming in the game, and now it was stolen from Coppelia, and Coppelia can still work together with Red. Why? Because martial artists uses both agility and STR, and if you are planning on using them together on Rainbow Rangers, you can place one on agility and another one in the STR position. They will still attack together, sometimes one will attack first and the other one will attack later, or you can even use the new Amazon Raid Axe that increases STR by 50%, although they do have higher agility than STR, so you usually prefer to increase their agilities. Just by judging these 3 skills, you can already see that this Copellia is good enough. She has enough BP to start Punishing Combo right from start, just like Red, and she can even use Mirage Kick on turn 2 if she wants, because she will have enough BP. And then she will just stack Flying Knee Kicks till she has BP available to use Mirage Kick again. Okay, now let's discuss something else. Inheritance, and that's super important with this character. Remember when I said that she has 99 LP? That's because she was designed around using LP to do damage. Her first style, the Platinum one, has an attack called Destruction Doll Dance that she can use twice. It's a triple S nuke with 66 modifier, and that is strong, but not that strong. We already have skills that are better than this, but when she was released, it was to compensate the power, so that she could only use it twice. And then, her limited style has something similar, but it's called Artima Soul. It's fast attack in global because it was not in JP, double S, 45 modifier. So, there was a problem with this on release. Artemis Soul could not be used on turn 1 because it costs 13 BP. And then people had to use a fast attacker on turn 1, kill the enemies, and then allow her to attack on turn 2. Then she just dies, because this is what happens. When she uses all 98 LP, she dies. User becomes unconscious. And for farm is good, for finalizing not so much, since it counts as damage. But if you're farming, depending, she's the only character in the game that can now kill some types of waves. If the enemies have way too much HP, you don't need to use 2 characters, you will need to use just her. This power is very close to another style that's returning as well, and this style is Fuse. The second style of Fuse has a very powerful attack called Air Support. This attack here is S. We don't know the real modifier because it was changed in global, and it at least buffs morale up, but it's hardly used since the enemies just die and you don't need to follow up. But if you do, depending on some stages, it will just increase the damage of those that come after Fuse. So, this was doing similar damage as Artemis Soul because this guy has a lot of status. But now, Coppelia has bigger status with her new version, and she would just destroy Fuse on this damage. But you can still use together. You can still use the 2 characters because Fuse even buffs blunt damage to the squad. It's just that you'll be using Rainbow Rangers, one in the Dex position and the other one on the Agility position, and it will simply work. But we do have a lot of blunt damage in the game, and if you have been summoning some banners, you may have too much. Do you really need this Coppelia? Well, depends. Do you want to use this attack here called Artemis Soul? You need to have this style. If you don't have, she's returning with a new banner. You will have to pursue this style here to get Artemis Soul in turn 1. It's the strongest turn 1 fast attack in the game, but there's only one element here. There are some other attackers that can bring 2 elements like Joe, but Joe does not even compare. But it's only one element, it would not be used everywhere, but when it's useful, it will probably just destroy a wave by itself. And also the very interesting thing is that with such a high status, as you can see here, she also can be used for farming or boss fights, and just focus on using Mirage Kick, and if you are using Matriarch, you can make her evade very fast. Very, very fast. So Copellia is very nice to have. If you have the other style of her, I can say that this is probably a very good pull, one of the best ones you can make. But if you don't and you want plan to pursue the 2 styles, it's too costly. You may sometimes need to pity both, imagine the problem. Or you can just, well, stick to Punishing Combo. She's good enough here. She's still a debuffer, she's still an AoE attacker with single target potential, and has good cyclings and good auto. You are just missing out on the turn 1 fast attack from this version that has this Artemis Soul. But Punishing Combo works with Red, will also work with Coppelia, and just to say, since Red is one of the best characters in the game, this also makes Coppelia one of the best styles in this game. I still believe the Red is a little better, since Red can do 3 AoE if you want. He also can self-buff his own agility. He also has Sun through Inheritance, and it's a Platinum style everyone can have access to. So he's still better than Coppelia, but Coppelia is very close. And you can still use them together if you want. So, problem, if you don't have the first one, you have to summon for both. But if you don't have Red, summoning for Coppelia will serve you well. You don't need both. If you have Red, if you want to skip Coppelia as well, you can do it. You don't need both, but one replaces the other. So the last one is Minerva. Minerva is very interesting because you don't see her potential just by looking on the status. She does not have anything that stands out. Her STR is good but not so high on 93. Her endurance is a little above average but nothing special. Her dexterity is good but nothing special as well. Her agility is above average for spear users. Her intelligence is bad. Her will is okay. And love and charisma does not matter. So we need to give a look on her passive. The first one increases her damage by 15% when using spears, that is every time, and damage will be reduced by medium effect. I think the medium effect is 20 or 25% decreasing damage, not 15, okay, because it's a little different when used for reduction. The second passive is Energize, and this increases her STR and endurance on every turn, meaning that you can stack this and every new turn you're just getting more. That's why characters that had passives that had chances to trigger are just outclassed now. Characters can stack every turn, believe 25% chance to stack in the past, now it's a guarantee. It's just a different world. And then the last passive is called Battle Tension, that gives her 1 more RBP and also 15% increase in damage. Meaning that she gets to 30% increase, buff to STR and endurance every turn, 1 more BP on start of fight, and reduction in damage. That is a good kit for boss fights. Well, as for skills, Minerva needed to have a kit that was good enough because she cannot inherit anything useful from her A style. And then they decided to get her for single target. Well, she's a single target specialist. The first skill is called Piercing Slash. It's both pierce and slash, but it's probably very close to normal attack damage, but it buffs her own STR for free. When you fully awaken, it's 0 BP, so you can use this anytime. And because she already gets STR by Energize, this is very nice. When she does not have a skill to use, you are buffing yourself and doing a little more damage than a normal attack. The second skill is Multi-Thrust. This skill here is powerful for the coast, but it also uses RNG. It's 7 BP and it hits between 2 to 4 times. If it hits 2 times, like hitting for double S damage. If it hits 4 times, like hitting for 4 S's damage. And with only 7 BP, this is amazing. But Multi-Thrust and Piercing Slash reminds me of a character that we need to discuss, and that is Ferdinand. Multi-Thrust is only Pierce, but there's a character with a similar kit with these 2 skills called Ferdinand. And this guy here, it's also similar in many ways. He doesn't have the best STR, he doesn't have the best status, but he also can stack his buffs in similar ways. He needs to attack weak target to buff himself, but he also has a counter attack that he can buff himself when countering, and also the first skill also buffs his own STR, but it's only slash. And his second skill is called Stereo Rush. It's the same skill, but it's both slash and pierce. He does offer more for investment when you think about future planning, since he will use it in 2 different contents. But we are usually chasing after specialists. If she's the best pierce, then so be it. If we have both, we'll be using her instead of Ferdinand. Ferdinand also very strong and can use that attack twice in a row if you have this version of him, because he needs battle tension to do so. Because it's 7 BP, 14 on second turn. For farming is nice. This guy here is not the best one for bosses, but well, it is what it is. It's platinum. You cannot expect too much. But another character that also has a similar attack is Coppelia. Coppelia has the same multi-trust attack here with 7 BP. Not only that, she also buffs her own STR when attacking a weak target, similar to Ferdinand. But Minerva don't need to attack a weak target, and she just buffs her own STR on the start of a turn and also endurance, so in boss fights she would survive way better than Teacher Coppelia. Teacher Coppelia at least has HP heal with this Anthology attack. If you're desperate and need a healing and you don't want to use your healer, it's good. But with Steel Blade Light, if you are using this, it's still better to just keep focusing on damage and then use Anthology. Anthology is 4 VP for very weak damage. Another character that she kinda compares to is Mikhail. The new Mikhail will hit 4 times all times, but with a delay. It's a price that he needs to pay to have the skill available right from the start and guarantee 4 hits. Sometimes I prefer Mikhail. He also heals himself when he uses quadruple pierce, and the damage should be similar. He also buffs his dexterity when he attacks and, well, recovers. They will be fighting for the same position when facing bosses. Well, he uses dexterity, she uses STR. It kind of depends on the formation on the other characters that you're using together. If you're using Tigers, then you can still use both, but do you really need? Because they are clashing sometimes. Well, we have J-Mew, UDX J-Mew is another character that just keeps getting stronger when facing bosses, because, well, he gets dexterity when attacking weak targets. And when you compare them all, they do the same things. The difference here is more about, do you really need to replace the one that you are using? Minerva will be better than them on this strategy. That is, attacking, using multi-hit attack, self-buffing, multi-hit attack. But now we need to discuss something else for Minerva, and this something else is the third skill, Acupuncture. Acupuncture is an attack that already exists in the game. She has the plus version, meaning that it's the amplified version. And look on this. It's a triple S attack. In JPs, I think around 60 modifier. And when it attacks, it produces STR. But there's a catch here. There's no chance. It will guarantee to debuff STR. This is exclusive to Global. They added this with this new update. So when you look on Minerva and you saw this low intelligence, you thought, well, she would not be debuffing because of a low intelligence. But Acupuncture will land all the time. And the most important thing is the effect. It's a large effect. Large effect in this game is between 25 and 30% when maxed. Normal debuffs is only 15%. So when you have a skill that uses 6 BP and it's only 15% debuff, you have this other one with 10 BP cost, well, almost double, but double the effect. So it kinda justifies, it's just like one of the first skills that I can see with high cost that I justify besides Global X and Media. Global X and Media also has a very good combination. She also has a large effect, and that's how she makes evasion strategy so good when she debuffs agility of enemies that uses spell. So Minerva has this, but it's not just her. That's something very interesting that I want to discuss here. Before I go into that, let's just remember of something. She has battle tension. That means that she can use Acupuncture on turn 1 and then again on turn 4 if you are aiming to debuff a boss. And maybe you have another debuffers that is already good enough to just have enough debuffs going against a boss. Remember, 4 turns lasts when you apply a debuff. Okay, so we were talking about Coppelia and we will return to her again. And the reason is because This other Cordelia here can also use it, but it depends on a limited style. And now she can just upgrade Acupuncture as well if you have the Valentine version of Cordelia. If I remember correctly, you can get this version from the shop, from the Valentine event. Oh, and guys, let me just tell you something. Acupuncture is available to 4 different styles in the game right now for upgrade. That is Barbara, this is a Platinum style. Mariah, this is a Platinum style. She does not have an SS style right now, but she will have a very good one. And Cordelia, limited for Valentine. And this Brownie comes from Story, and she will get another SS style very soon. Probably around 1.5 anniversary for real. So, in the end, Teacher Cordelia can do almost the same. She can use multi-trust, she can self-buff, she does not have the free skill that buffs STR, but at least she still has multi-trust, and she can also use Acupuncture to debuff STR from a boss. So she's kind of a mini Minerva with a lot of effort. That also shows how Minerva is strong right now. Minerva, alongside Mikhail, are like one of the best pierce damage dealers for boss fights. If you don't mind about the delay on Mikhail, that is, I used him against Fornews and he was pretty strong. Using them together will be very interesting since they sustain with different methods. Mikhail heals himself. Minerva just increases her endurance to keep surviving. She will be way better against physical damage. Mikhail may be better against magical damage. You see, sometimes you just need a specialist and it will provide more when using like that. And also, just forget about her A style, there's nothing here to inherit. All skills here are terrible. But it's so interesting that they managed to make a character work with just one style. She doesn't have AoE, but she's not trying to be more than what she was made for, boss fights. But even then, you can still use multi-trust in farming scenarios. Let's say that there's a stage with 2 waves and there's like 2 bosses, well, at least strong enemies, you use multi-trust on the first and then on the second. Or if you just wanna, well, face a single boss and need 2 turns to kill it, multi-trust will still do enough damage, and she will also have higher STR on turn 2 when she uses for the second time. She's kinda limited, I don't think that she will probably get another style unless the community asks again, but with what she has, she's just stacking some versatility and utility with a single style. With that said, I do believe that Minerva is better for those that don't have many other pierce attackers. Like UD Action, you can still perform similar as well. He also gets stronger within time. Like I just said, Mikhail is strong enough. You kind of need 2, so the other Teacher Cordelia also good for boss fights. Not as good as the other ones I mentioned, but still works. If you have that Ferdinand, he was on a rerun banner recently as well. He can also perform the same role. You don't need more than 2 of them. It's hard to just bring 3 damage dealers when you are facing a boss. And although she still works for farming, that's not exactly her main potential. But she is really strong. Let's return here to the banner image. Let me say something here. Copellia is almost as good as Red. Red is still better because he has evasion strategy and he can also opt to just use AoE 3 times in a row. He also uses some damage if he wants by inheritance of a Platinum style that's available. Coppelia at least has a better turn 1 damage if you can inherit from her limited style. She becomes very special and close to Red, just are very similar. But if you have Red, do you really need Coppelia? Let me tell you the truth, you don't. But the 2 together will be very strong. For Minerva, she has competition against the character I just mentioned, but she is probably the best of most of them, save for Mikhail. If you don't mind about the delay part, like I said in his review, he's most boss specialist. We are looking on a boss specialist again. And Creator, sadly, Creator don't bring much. And the first style of him is still more interesting in my opinion. Even with this passive that increases party damage, we have better. So he does not have anything to really impact in squad building right now. When you are a veteran, you are after specialists or just the best of what you can get. The best blunt damage, the best stun damage, and he does not offer anything. He just offer a chance to increase damage with a low cost. But that's not a guarantee, that's not how we farm, that's not how we fight bosses. But Coppelia and Minerva are very good characters. The problem is this banner. This banner has only 2 important styles and one that will not affect the game too much. We will have a rerun banner with many styles, 5 styles, and there's no off banner. In this banner here you have a 40% chance of getting an off banner. So I must say that the value here is lower, even though you have 2 very powerful units. It depends on how many gems you have and if you need to fill the roles that these characters offer. If I were to give a grade, Copellia will be triple S because of how she works and how punishing combo is important. If I were to give a grade to Minerva, she would be similar to Mikhail, that is still a double S character. It's not that important in the game, you can still find alternatives, although she's very good. And well, this version of Creator, in my opinion, is just an S. That's my opinion. How about you guys? We were planning to summon these styles. I wish you good luck. I still have not decided because I want them, but I don't have many gems. I will decide when we do a live stream as soon as the game resets. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you still haven't, and I hope to see you soon in the live stream or in another episode. Bye.